Calling the meeting to order. Can we take a roll call?
Anderson present. Aaron Brewster present.
Paul St. Amman present.
All right, and then your first agenda item is the approval of the minutes. We have a couple of months to catch up on, so we have the March 24th, the April 28th, and the June 9th. So if you guys want to start in chronological order, and then we'll pull the vote for each one.
So I have it in the right order. We have to do the minute from the last, right?
March 24th.
Yep. March 24th. Okay. So if everyone could look at the minutes from March 24th and see if you're okay with everything there.
And if so.
And then if you are, then we'll make a motion.
I'm good.
Can you make a motion?
Good.
Okay,
Well, I'll make a motion to accept
Yep.
the minutes.
okay. Okay,
Second.
good.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, then we have the minutes for April 28th.
I had no comments on those either. All set with it.
Mm,
Motion
Make a
to
motion.
accept.
Aye,
Aye.
okay. And then the third one is the minutes from June 9th.
So I wasn't here for that, so I think I have to abstain, so we might have to
Yep.
leave that one until the next meeting.
That's something that we have talked about with other boards and commissions. If you are able to look over the minutes and you think that they're okay, if you happen to catch the meeting on YouTube, then you are allowed to vote.
Okay.
If you need to do that or you still don't feel comfortable, you don't have to, but the option is there. If you think that you're comfortable enough to vote on it, you have to do it.
Yep, that one was pretty simple.
Yeah,
because
yeah, it
it
looks
was the
like it.
plexiglass,
Right,
which we
yeah.
had talked about at previous ones and stuff on over time, so.
Okay. Okay, motion to
Approve,
approve. Seconded.
motion is passed. Okay,
Okay.
Apologies, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Oh, just.
Okay.
Hey, could I have the agenda? Have an extra one?
I'll be right back. You guys can continue.
We just approved the minutes. You didn't have any comments for the 3 weeks, the 3 meetings that were,
No.
okay, Making sure.
Some of these things, you really have to comment on them. Read Schoolhouse.
No, I can't.
Is that only,
Technically, I'm not, because I haven't been stated, maybe my term expired
Mhm.
in August,
Okay,
so technically I'm the public,
okay.
so. I'm
Ah,
supposed to
I
sit
guess it's
quietly.
public comment. Got it. Okay, I'll pass it. I don't want to go into, is the grants on here? Because I'm okay with moving to the,
You're
no, that's under
definitely-
new business. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
you're the-
yeah, the old business,
Yeah, the
Wait
black
for-
one needs painting.
is that what it is?
That's why it's on there.
Okay.
So
Museum Day?
museum day is September
what-
24th, and I'm running a festival, so I can't be there. Can anybody else be there? For a couple of hours?
This is just to have the schoolhouse open in case anyone wants to walk through.
Even if it's just a couple of hours.
I'm out of state. I'm sorry. I'm out of state next week too.
So the 24th happens to be family day at electric vote, so I won't be, I can't.
I'm not, I'll have to look at what's going on before I can say that. Anyway.
Does it
Okay.
have to be someone from the commission that has the Reed Schoolhouse open, or?
Well, it doesn't have to be the commission, we just said it would be open, but I didn't realize it when we set our date for our festival, so we're gonna be at Camp Westwood all day. Can it be somebody else?
This is Saturday,
I
okay.
guess I don't know.
We'll see.
Just wondering.
I might be able to do it, I don't know.
I'm working, but if I can get,
Just
I
a
can
couple
swap
hours,
it.
it doesn't have to be all day.
Yep.
For one thing, it's not listed on the website. So we're using no one has it.
Mhm. I just gotta look at my calendar at home. I got so much stuff going on this month and I'm usually not this busy, but this month is crazy for
Yeah,
me,
it
so.
doesn't matter if it's open, actually, it needs a good cleaning, to the
Hmm.
school needs to be cleaned, it's dusty, and since they moved out, so we need.
All right, so. Old business is Reed Schoolhouse. Flagpole needs painting, so we need to get,
Everything that's been done there, the flagpole is peeling.
right, but again, deferring to John here, does have to get a price from more than one person in order to do that?
If it's something like paint, in the past, what we've done with items that could be bought by like a Home Depot or something like that. I know DPW has a credit card over there,
Mm-hmm,
so if whoever kind of takes the ball and runs with it as far as picking out what needs to be purchased, if you could send that to me and I could get it purchased through the
Right, but
credit
what-
card and then.
but
apply.
what about paying for the person to paint it? I mean, again, we're looking at a situation where we don't have members that are gonna go over there and, sand and scrape and do that thing. It's gonna be hired out.
I know, I wouldn't
You
even
know?
have a clue. What's the proper paint to
Yep.
get? Would you
Yep.
even order?
Right, yeah, no, I was thinking more of what materials.
Right,
thing, But I see what
but,
you're saying.
I mean, It's more a procedural thing, which I found out from doing the plexiglass is
Yeah.
more complicated
Yeah.
than you want it to be for something simple, but,
Sure.
uh, So,
in keeping
how do you
with
deal with
The
that?
way that we did it with the plexiglass. The way that it worked at that time was if it was under a certain amount, we could just,
Do it? Yeah.
that's the way it worked at that time.
And I only say this and as being a professional in the
Yeah.
building industry, is that, for that flagpole, you want someone who is a decent qualified painter who's got the sander and the stuff, just to do it right, so it's gonna last. They'll know what product to recommend to get, and then we can do that, like you said, with it, but
So, I mean,
we'd
at
have
this
to,
point, I don't know
so is it
if a
still,
list of people that anybody has in mind, or if it's something that.
I have no trouble.
Need to sort
finding-
out.
I mean, that isn't, but it's more, me following the right procedure, so I don't mess that up with how it goes. But if it's still under a certain amount, is that what you're saying? If it's under a certain
Yeah.
amount, because it won't be a lot to do that. It's not like it's
No,
gonna
not
be
at all.
a ton of money, but
Not at all.
I would want a professional to do it, who's gonna do it with the right primers and then paint so it'll last for a while, Okay, so basically, we need to get just
And
someone to look at it, an estimate, and tell us which products need to be purchased,
Mhm.
correct?
Yes.
Okay,
No, can we talk about plexiglass?
Sure. I just want to be clear about, what, is there somebody from the commission that's going to try to research a name and have that ready for the next
Nicole.
meeting?
You're talking flagpole.
Yes,
yes,
yes, just before we move
You
on.
know
to
somebody?
that.
yeah, I do.
You
Yep.
know
I
somebody?
know
Yeah.
numerous people who do
Yeah,
that stuff,
okay.
so, yep,
All right, so I guess moving on to the plexiglass, that's ongoing. I have an email out to finance department. Because you might imagine they're busy. And with the town audit and trying to get everything squared away there. So when we had last spoken, we had had an estimate that had gotten sent to the finance department. In the weeks leading up to the end of the fiscal year, there was like a moving target as far as what is the actual date, what is the deadline for items to be actually submitted through the system and paid out. So it got sent. We're trying to get to the bottom of what happened after it got sent. So that's an ongoing issue that we're
Right.
trying to figure out. At this point, if they can't figure it out because there's been turnover as far as personnel over there too, so it could be the case where we just don't know what happened. And
They might have lost it,
We're just gonna move
Right.
forward.
because I know you walked it over there, so,
Yes.
Right.
yes. So, it might just be the case where I'll just print out another one. Move forward and go from there.
It'll go from this year.
Depending on the dates, I don't know what their rules are as far as where the funds get applied, if it gets applied to this year's budget, or if the date on the estimate or the invoice at that point. Is from last year. I don't know how they pay out funds that way. If last year's funds are gone, I don't know. Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's underway and we're working towards trying to get that paid out.
yep. All right, Coventry map.
Oh.
You took, that's the old map, the one that. Ian
Yeah,
looked
and
at?
again, I think
Yep.
it's up to the town how they want to move forward on it.
Right. So I think the best option now is, if I could get from you, maybe you could email me the information of the company itself. And that way the town have a clearer picture of, where this is. We can reach out to them.
Mhm.
Is
get
this
their-
still the one in Massachusetts, or did you
Mhm.
find a closer
Yeah.
one?
We'll get their take on things and,
No, and again, they couldn't really give us an answer for sure because they really need to see it
Yeah.
physically. That was the whole point.
Understood.
So,
That was on canvas, Ian? Is that what you found out, or what's it painted on?
it's not on canvas. It's like a
No.
wood. It's painted.
It's
So
on
they were
wood?
they were
Okay.
intrigued. They said, it's a really nice piece,
Mm.
but it's unusual too. So
Okay.
they'd have to really see it.
Mm.
And again, depending on how busy they are and things like
Mhm.
that. But yeah, I can give you the information,
Yeah.
the email information. And you just let me know who would you be doing that? Would it be somebody from?
right now we just have discussions like, hey, this is what we want to do.
Okay,
But I don't have any specifics. So
Understood.
If we can,
Yeah.
on my end, coordinate with the company
Okay.
itself, then we
Yeah.
can kind of get a
I'll
better
get that
grasp of what
information.
what it would look like.
okay, sure.
There was also that woman, I think last month at, Tuxet Valley that gave the talk, the conservator.
Yeah.
I don't remember what her name was. I didn't.
Yeah.
I went to it and I probably could look up the information on her.
No.
Things like that.
I can find
Yeah.
out.
You're doing, like
Mm.
uniforms and
Yeah,
maps and all kinds of things too.
Yeah, the map is unique because it's on a type.
Kind of.
She knew what it was. It's on a piece of wood and I don't even know how they would have got it on, how it worked back then, but she said, it's a really nice piece, but she said it was unusual. It wasn't canvas.
Mm.
And she said they have an idea what it was, but they'd really have to look at it.
yep.
Mm.
So the design for the pink granite, you want to move ahead with doing something for that? Because I can do that and over the next month and put together. Right. Okay, so,
Bottom of this, they want things $20,000 and over,
well,
so we
that,
could combine things.
okay, 'cause I was gonna say, that's not gonna be
No,
$20,000.
Combine things, it doesn't have to be one project, it could be the map and
Okay, I got you. Yep,
as long as it's over
Yep.
20,000.
Okay.
But they're not sure when the deadline is.
so I guess then we go back to the map, so that, from what Ann is saying is that the only way we can get a real estimate on it is someone has to bring this map up there to Massachusetts in order to do it, because they can't do it by looking at photographs or something.
You know, I saw
No,
a bunch of
I know,
photographs, but yeah.
Just,
Mm.
so that's, okay,
And how does it go there? Because we discussed that too.
Yeah, the issue is the liability.
Transport.
The liability. If the town doesn't
Yeah.
think it's important enough to transport it down there, then it's just one of those things. It's not for somebody to take on that liability. Because if something happens to it, so there's a risk involved.
Take the town truck and drive it up there, take it for a day.
Well, I really think it should be a town employee only
That's what I mean,
because,
town
oh, okay,
truck,
Hmm.
it fits in and
okay,
town-
yeah, only
And-
because, yeah,
And
Where?
where are they located in? Amherst, okay.
Amherst, Mass, yeah. It's about
So it's like an
2.5
hour
hours.
and a half
I
ride.
think it's,
I mean, we take a day.
Yeah,
yeah, and again, you have to work it out with them
Yeah.
too.
yep.
I think, like I said, it can be done. Cost it would be, who knows, might not be as much as they think. They really need a good look at it. They were really helpful. But, they couldn't really
Mm.
give a solid price.
So the stumbling block right now is getting the town to bring it there.
Right,
That's what's stumbling
Getting
the
it-
project.
to them to be able to give an estimate.
No, in
Right.
my car.
Oh, they wouldn't, yeah. they
House
wouldn't.
plaques
Yeah,
is the next thing, house plaques.
I've collected some applications. I'm not supposed to talk. We still need to resolve the issue of when they pay for them, how is that handled? We still have not had an answer to that question. They write on a check for a plaque just to the town of Coventry. It's gonna go into the vast funds of whatever, and nobody's gonna know where it is. I want it to go into something that's specific for that,
Well,
and that has not happened yet.
wouldn't we have to do it as part of the historical society then?
We could do it as historical
John?
society, not the commission.
Because the commission can't collect funds, correct?
That's the
Or can
stumbling
we?
block with
Mm,
that.
right.
Is figuring out how to do it with the town, and I can't get a straight answer
Hmm,
of that.
Yeah, I know
So-
we've had this discussion in the past with the finance
And
department.
I don't want money coming to me.
no.
No, I did.
But the
Let me-
question is, does it go, I know what you're saying is that if they write a check to the town, it's gonna go into the town general treasury. Maybe that's how it has to be if you wanna have people have plaques.
And there's the
Yep.
accountability when something just goes into the big hole.
Let me,
Well-
talk to,
I mean, the state is the same way.
mm-hmm,
But you have to make that judgment call. Is it important for people to be able to put the historical thing on their house so that you're promoting, history or, where, because it's not, you're not talking a lot of, first of all, you get into the whole dollar number that we need to talk about, because if you're gonna have people pay for them, I don't think you're gonna get many people paying for signage that costs $120 or something, I just don't think. It would have to be that we kind of picked up half the cost. That's where you get into this thing. That's a, yeah, they're doing a very simple sign,
That's what I was gonna.
very, very simple. There's nothing wrong with that, but I mean, it's not what we talked
I was
about.
gonna bring that up actually
Yep.
to find out if there was any kind of a, I don't want to say a clash, because that's a strong word, but.
No, there's no clash.
Overlapping or.
There's an
'cause
overlapping,
He seemed upset when I mentioned that,
I had a long
did
talk
you
with him.
talk with
Mhm.
him? Okay, good.
What they're doing is similar to PB.
Yes,
not
it's
what
it's a whole different thing.
So you'll be able to square that away with him and
It's not a competition, so it's not an issue.
were you able to,
Yeah.
were you able to?
Yep,
Okay.
they're giving it as kind of like an award type of thing.
Like PB
But they're
does.
doing a very simple, small sign. What we had talked about originally, and I had the woman that makes the signs price that out, was something a little nicer than that. That's all. I mean, it's not the criticism of them, that makes it more affordable. But we were trying to do something that had a little more charm to it, basically. And,
I think.
yep,
I
yep,
think you have to
yep.
panicked when we were
But-
having the conversation because he thought that. we
Yeah,
were
he
gonna
did.
do
He called
something
me
that
right after he
invalidated
talked to you.
their effort.
Yes, and their sign thing is not gonna affect anything that we did, and we don't have any problem, with them doing what they're doing at all, so,
It's research.
no,
Like here, they're talking about. putting
yes, they are,
something-
yeah. Yes. Yep.
But if, say I have 100-year-old house, but it has no historic significance. in that
It's like me,
respect,
my
you wanna
house,
put- Yeah, you wanna put your,
yep,
that's what we're.
yes. That's what we're doing, do something like that with the signage, but the point I was trying to make is just that I don't think many people would do it because of the cost unless, you know, the commission, and again, it's talking about spending money that the commission is allotted every year, paid for like half the cost of that, so that they were paying like $65, let's say, for that sign, even though it cost the commission $130. And they would know that. I mean, it's not like you're not transparent about it, but you would do it to promote people's pride in their house. And since we're talking about, I mean, because this has been ongoing for a couple of years now, a long time, and we've had numerous discussions on it. And at one point, we said, okay, we'd establish like 1950. I don't think that should be that way. I think that a house should be older than that. And I'm not talking about as old as mine, but I mean, I don't know why we did that, but that's not to me an historic house. I mean, you got to go back to like at least 1930 or something, you know, with it to make it something that is meaningful and not just, you know, the other. That's my opinion only. That's, you know.
Well, 1950 was all when all the ranch houses started showing up.
Right.
And that's not exactly.
That's, I mean, if it was up to me, I'd probably say the house should have been built before 1920.
Like
You
do
know,
a
I mean,
100-year mark.
Yeah.
Should be about 100 years old.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's-
For me, that's, you know, my way of looking at it, but I'm only one. So,
Oh, that's true.
so you know, because we started talking about the signs, me and Bob showed me, and I started thinking about it again. And it's like, you know, one of the things that always bothered me was that I think that there should be like 100-year type of cutoff line with this for it in order to make it significant and important.
Mm.
If we're going to do it, that's all.
Yeah.
If anybody disagrees.
No, I agree totally.
Aaron, what do you think?
No,
Yeah.
seems like it makes sense.
Yep. Okay.
How we're gonna do it financially.
Yeah, so-
That's the biggest issue.
Yep.
Right, so we already have the concern about how do we capture the money accurately, and
Mm.
now we're talking about a cost sharing, which now you've just
Right.
made it extremely complicated.
Well,
No, but I mean, until we know how the money's gonna be
Right.
handled.
right. So,
So let me talk to the planning director and the planning director. He has experience as a town manager and every other facet of municipal government. So let me run that by him and see if he has any ideas about how we could collect funds and if there are any ways to ensure that those funds are
Specific,
correct.
of the specific account.
Can you also ask how we would set it up to do like a cost share? Cause I'm sure that makes it harder.
Well, I don't know. My thought would be if there was some sort of cost sharing, that would just come out of
the
just
budget,
regular operating budget.
Right.
So I don't know that that would make
Yep.
it more difficult. It would just be at that point submitting an invoice over the finance department. It comes
Yep.
out of your budget.
right?
Simple. And it would more be a reimbursement on the applicant's end. I'll run it all by him and see what he thinks.
Next is brown signs, and that's Maureen's.
So the brown sign,
Area.
the last I left it. I sent DOT the 4 detailed maps. That outline the historic villages. And basically what it comes down to is. Apparently it's on me to provide a physical location for each sign.
Mhm.
And I just haven't been able to do that this
Mhm.
summer, so. I think that's the only thing that is waiting on. Is for me to like physically tell them where. On the
Right.
sidewalk.
Right,
Like
where-
3
where
feet
that-
from the
It's kind of a-
curb and 2
It was
feet.
kind of a disappointment to me because I thought that after I provided the detailed maps,
Yep,
you know, where the breakdown of the,
How specific do you have to be? Do you have to say like 3 feet from the curb? And like you have to
I
do
just-
dimensions,
well,
or you
I-
can
I-
just say in this corner?
I'd like to think that it's, that they should have the final say because of safety considerations where they can install a sign.
Right,
So I think that, hopefully not quite that specific, but they're waiting on me to tell them exactly where the sign needs to go. But I was kind of disappointed because I thought the way they explained it to me, we picked like the main thoroughfare and we do like an entering and a on either end
yep,
of that. And I think for the most of the locations, that was pretty straightforward. I think there were, I can't remember which one out there was a little bit kind of convoluted in terms of which, maybe it was a Hopkins Hollow
Hopkins
one.
Hollow,
I'm like, what is the major thoroughfare? They kind of went on two different, yeah. So I think that's like pretty straightforward. If I can just give that my undivided attention and get that done, I think we could move on with that and then it would be on them. So in short, it's me that's the holdup.
okay,
Don't,
we'll forgive you. The heat set everybody back.
don't.
All right, so that's all the old business. Do I have to make a motion?
Okay, just move on.
All right, new business is South Main Street benches. I don't know what that is, so you're gonna have to help.
Well, I don't know when that bridge is gonna be redone,
Mm.
Which.
South Main Street, beginning of South Main Street,
At the bridge?
Yeah.
the bridge.
Yep,
There's two benches there that have been there forever.
Yeah.
I do see people that are waiting for the bus. They
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And
Yep.
They
I
get
just
used.
wanna Mention them because we don't want the bridges to be just tossed aside, that they're very ornate,
Yeah, they're really nice.
Yeah.
the iron or whatever it was. So that I just wanted to make notice that when they do that project, we want those
they
benches.
should salvage the benches.
Yes.
okay.
That's easier. than
Toss
the
them
bridge.
into the river.
DOT, you mean?
DOT,
Yeah.
it's a state project,
Mm-hmm.
but how do we put them on notice? I don't even know. when they're gonna do that.
I'd make sure you get them yourselves, because they're not gonna, can the town get them? Just remove them and hold on to them, put them in this building if they have to or somewhere, but because if you rely on somebody else,
No,
you,
I know
I
that.
don't-
Yeah.
be careful.
Wondering who owns them.
It's,
I don't know.
they're for the buses.
Yeah.
It's been there, they've been there as long as I can.
They look like they've been there since that bridge was probably dedicated in
Probably.
1919 and
Yeah.
so that's why it's, to me, I'm sure the town has been keeping, I don't think,
I don't think the state
I don't
cares,
think,
because they're just gonna throw them away.
For sure.
So wasn't it a counselor that was spearheading the effort to get this bridge redone? One of the town
South
councilmen,
Main Street.
am I in the wrong spot?
Like right before you get to the old Garland pen.
Yeah.
At the intersection.
Right.
There
Yeah.
where the waterfall is.
Yeah, no, then I know.
It's just an old
Yeah.
bridge. I mean, it's
No,
in
I know
better
what you
shape
mean.
than the one in Sandy Bottom was,
Yeah.
but I know that's gonna be on the list to be redone.
Mhm.
oh,
at
that,
some point.
yeah, you never know how long it could take him to, but I would definitely. I think that'd be an easy solution. I think you just, people are using them, we keep your eye on them and. When the project starts, I'm sure the town puts on notice and then just remove them. I mean, I don't think the state owns those. They're very antiquated. They're old.
They're old.
Yeah, so I don't,
Is there a plaque on them?
No, they've just
No.
been there.
I just didn't know, like, it maybe.
Call Peter
You know what? I
Alpini
never looked at the
Peter
picture.
probably, yeah.
when he's on Gene on Thursday
Just
mornings. Peter
love
Alpini, he's always so cooperative. He'll take it. I'm not, I'm
got
being
lots of-
serious,
Got lots of
actually.
things that they do it.
There's one way to get to him.
That's town.
I mean, not.
Yeah, they're
Yep.
pretty old. They've been there forever.
Mm. They've been there as long as
I
I
mean,
can
since
remember.
before anybody was born in this room. I mean,
Before the motor vehicle was
So you're
invented.
saying the bridge is gonna be redone
Eventually,
Yeah.
it's on the list.
on what list?
We have a tip list.
Yeah, there's a list of.
Does it have a date next to it? Does it have a date next to it?
It was everything. I thought it was every single
I
one of the
don't
entire.
think
state.
they're still working on Sandy Bottom Road. but then
No,
again,
because that's gonna cause a big issue with traffic flow, so that's gonna be a
Nowhere to
big
go.
deal. Yeah,
They definitely won't,
be a big
Yeah.
deal.
they
So you'll
won't do
know.
that probably for a couple of years.
That's what I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. In the meantime, I would take those, yep, I would just keep your eye on them.
Yeah.
I'm surprised nobody's tried to take those
Well,
benches.
They're
I'm
probably
pretty,
bolted down.
I think they bolted down
to
really
the
good,
concrete.
yeah,
That's good
that you can't.
because they are very nice.
but,
And it's also
Okay.
it's the iron.
Mm.
You know, so they could be put somewhere else.
I mean,
Oh,
at this
that's
point, like you said, there's probably not any work to be done tomorrow or the next day.
Still,
No,
But maybe it would just be worth your while to reach out to somebody at DOT and see if,
we can take them or something.
or see if they have plans for it.
What did something,
I don't even think DOT even knows about this. They're
No,
not,
they
they're not even,
care.
gonna- I don't think they,
but you know,
Yeah,
it's
And
it's
just,
if they don't care, then
yeah.
you
Yeah.
can. I
It-
guess like,
Yeah.
programs.
I would take a picture, send it or
They're
something.
meant to do that before the-
They're not even gonna know what they, yeah.
One's covered with fines.
I think they've been there over 100 years. to be honest. I think they've been there almost 100 years.
I think it'll be a little while before they're attacking that
No,
bridge, so.
I'm just-
I know, you're making.
Yeah, it's a
everybody
good
aware
point.
of
Those
it. I
benches
get
are
it.
good. They're important.
Yep. All right, next thing on here is Historic Preservation Training Camp.
I had sent that all to you
Yep.
guys.
Mm.
Is that the one in South Kingstown?
Yeah, but I think it's in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I have the email
There's
here.
no way I can do it this month.
So, yeah, they do have a registration, it's for Historic District Commission training, by the NUPC. You can register by, there's a little short registration form, you can complete that and send it off to, the email that's included in the email that Norma had sent. And, yeah, it is Saturday, October 15th at 9 AM to 4:30 PM. It's in South Kingston.
I'm sorry, what was the date in October?
October 15th.
And it's a Saturday.
Yes. If you do want to register, I'm looking here now. It looks like the registration date is by tomorrow. So if you are interested, be sure to look at that email and,
So I filled out the application, I sent it in. There's only 60 seats. So they're gonna prioritize commissions that actually review property updates. So, right, because the whole agenda is about how you assess someone's upgrades and like acceptable replacement materials and all that stuff. So it'd be interesting and it's good for networking. So I think we all should, if we can go. But I don't know how useful what they're gonna teach us will be for us.
No, because we don't do that and we
Yeah,
don't have.
Yeah, I was thinking more like
Yeah.
a networking, get
Yeah.
to know other commissions so
Yeah.
we can start asking questions about.
Will you do
Oh.
the training?
Yeah, you and I have already done it.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I have to do it in my business.
Yeah.
When
Yeah,
I've done
I
it,
bet you do.
I've been through
Yeah.
at least 10
Oh, but you have 100 of those
historic
courses.
commission
And it's free, right?
It's
things to
free and lunch
present
is
stuff on.
provided.
I
I don't know what it would
Teach the
be.
course now.
And the agenda looks interesting, but it's also like, we don't do evaluations of
Okay.
properties, so
No, those.
it's
those are
all
for
day. It's like
Sit-
8 hours. Yeah, it's
Cities
all
and
day.
towns with historic district areas where they
Mhm.
control,
You want to
how
upgrade
historic
your
houses are
porch
done
and you have. they
what
have to look-
materials they
Mhm.
use, what windows they use, what gutters they do, everything,
Oh,
so. Yep. Okay, all right, next item is the presentation of the George Madison story of his history and the map making and forest ranger stuff. That's gonna happen on the 17th at 2:00. I am meeting the people there that are doing the presentation at 11 o'clock that day. So they can set up, but it would be nice to have somebody there to help me set up the chairs and tables and do stuff Saturday.
Saturday.
You do your cemetery stuff, I know.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Yeah.
working
Oh.
every Saturday.
Really?
through the
Yeah.
middle.
I'm sorry, I'm
Okay.
out of state. I'm with the band out of state. Like
Yep.
in-
I have little hands that can help.
There you go, bring them
Ooh.
along.
How
They
old
would
are
have a
they?
freaking blast
Yeah.
doing that.
I
How old
will.
are they?
They're 8 and 12.
Oh, that's pretty
Cute.
close.
Nice ages.
I said that to the
Oh, I
husband
have,
and wife that are doing this.
I
I
can't.
said, I
actually
don't know if
have
Erin
something
can
on
go, because
17th.
she's got two young
I already-
ones.
Little
My
ones.
Saturday's already.
They'll get a
full.
lot done,
I can't do it.
huh?
I already have something on Saturday.
I'll come in, I'll do fairs and such.
Okay, yeah,
What is this for? What is this for? I didn't
Okay.
know about this.
It's awesome.
you didn't know about this.
No.
Well, we're gonna vote
How
on
could you?
this. No, I don't know, no, we're gonna vote on this at the last meeting.
There you go.
Such a great presentation. It's so,
Ann's
cool.
been to the
like,
first.
it's just
first one.
amazing. You don't even want it to
Uh,
end.
it's all about my grandfather and his life and how he came to be a forest ranger. And how he came into doing all the historical maps that he's did over the years. And what we've done is, because I'm in possession of all of the originals and stuff, they have taken them, Steve Cornett and his wife have put together this fantastic presentation. And Steve took it on himself to make hangers for all of the maps that I gave them. And we're gonna hang them up all around on, they have, the good thing is over at the recreation center, they have these fold out type of dividers. And we're gonna set that up so we can hang them on both sides. Because at the presentation that we've already had up in Situate, that was very interesting to the people who went to get to look at them.
Did I?
In person.
It's similar to what I saw at Hope Historical. That was maybe, was it by your uncle? Did he put that on several years ago at Hope Historical
That was not
Society
any,
at the barn?
I
No, it
belong-
wasn't you.
no, I belong to Hope Historical, yes. My uncle did put on something there, but it's nothing like this.
Okay, that's what
This
I
is
saw. He gave
very-
a talk. He
yes,
gave a
he did.
talk.
He
And-
talked
yeah,
about,
okay.
this is very extensive. They've put in hundreds of
really good.
hours and put this together.
It should be on.
It should be on TV.
It's-
They did that good a job. I provided them with all the information,
amazing.
and then they did the deep dive in the state archives to get further information on
It's
stuff
like
to
a
do.
PBS
Oh, it's
documentary
excellent.
on it.
Um,
Somebody to do it? Around
I-
this?
I don't, again, I don't have anybody that I know that does that, so. Oh, yeah, it would be great. Sure they would. Yep. Yep. We've been trying to get PBS to come to one of them because the guy was very interested in it. And again, there's gonna be one more because I'm gonna, at least one more, because Patuxent Valley is doing one on I think it's October 31st, but whatever, I've got it at home, but they've agreed to do that. And then Johnston Historical has contacted me because I've gotten to know them up there, because she always loved my grandfather's maps, and she took one of Johnston, had it blown up to a larger size and
Wow.
framed it and everything so people could see everything on it. So she's interested. She had contacted me too, but
That's one of his, isn't it?
I didn't see his
No.
name on that
no,
anywhere.
he might have had something to do with it,
Yeah.
you know, in terms of helping them, but that's not one of
Because it
his.
looks.
It
that
has some
way.
of the
I
stuff
couldn't
from
find
his,
anything.
yeah, same type, yeah, but he didn't do it, no. But so this is about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And I provided them with tons of pictures and all kinds of stuff. And then they added through their own research because of the forestry department that, in the Smokey the Bear program. I learned something that I didn't know. The Smokey the Bear program was started because of all the big forest fires. And in Rhode Island, we had a number of very large forest fires in the 40s and 50s. And because we were a small state and because we had the forestry department, the United States Forestry Service decided to have Rhode Island be the test project. And my grandfather was the originator of the Smokey the Bear program through that. Yeah. And then they patented on that which they're still doing today, you know, they're still doing the Smokey the Bear thing. So I still have the films that he used to go to the grammar schools with in the 50s and 60s in my possession, whatever those are. What are they? 8mm, not the kind that used to run on the projector. 16, yeah, the big ones. So whatever, I still have those, but anyway, so it's a very interesting, fun show. Anyway, it's not just about maps. It's
This is
about,
amazing. It's
you know,
amazing.
Rhode Island through those years and all of the other things that
Okay.
went on. A lot of people don't know all this stuff. So it was
They did a good
interesting.
job.
Anyway, so that's,
So you mentioned.
so Maureen, you
videotaping
should
it.
get
Do
the
we
day
want-
off from work and come and see it. If not, then you need to go to Patuxent Valley the end of October and see it.
I guess,
on a
how do you
Thursday
even go
night,
about
whenever
finding
they have
someone
it.
that can do them?
All right, so that, and then again, I just asked the question, like, you can't do these things without providing some refreshments for the people that are going there. So I suggest that I get Dunkin' Donuts coffee things and snacks and some bottles of water, and, soda and stuff
they
like
train
that
the
to have there
kids.
for the people. And whatever is left, they can stay there with the,
So. we were
But
supposed to
would we-
vote in that Having this.
Yep.
we were promoting it.
Yep.
We were
Okay, so
voting on
we'll-
this.
all right, so we'll do it right now. But just, is that that just will come out of the budget, correct?
Sure.
Yep.
So with anything like that, there are just two things. The first is it makes it easier on the finance department if you were to buy any sort of refreshments or anything like that. It's easier for them to, if you were to buy it with some sort of debit card or credit card, because then that way there would be a statement attached
Sure.
to it, and then
Yep,
you can
no,
block out all the
yep,
information.
I'll do it with
except
the
for
credit
just
card.
those line
Yeah.
items.
yep,
Just
got it.
makes it easier for them because anybody could say,
Okay,
oh yeah, I paid with cash. but-
yeah,
And then keep the receipt.
Yep.
And the statement, and then get that paid.
yep, okay.
And then the other one, point is, the town doesn't pay any sort of tax on anything, so you would be reimbursed for the price of the product,
Mhm.
but any sort of tax or anything that wouldn't be reimbursed by the town.
Yeah, so I need to have a tax number?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll all be handled,
Oh, okay.
but all you need to know.
Yep.
Now is that.
No, I mean, does the town give me a tax number so that I don't have to pay the tax on it?
Right, I can.
And I only say it because I mean, I've had nonprofits that I've done
Sure.
work for and they give me the form with the number and I present it and then there's no tax added.
Let me reach out to him tomorrow. I'll be in touch with you tomorrow by email.
Yeah,
We'll
Yep.
get that done. Because, yeah, this is coming.
it's not till, it's not till a week from Saturday, so.
Yeah,
it's-
well, it's coming up, so. I'll-
Yep.
I'll work on that.
And I'm gonna be going for 3 days next week, so I won't be around. I'm taking a vacation.
Good for you.
Vacations are not allowed. What are you doing?
It's my birthday. It's on Tuesday.
So I'd like to make a motion to support the presentation on September 17th for the George Mattson maps. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Do I have to make a separate motion to also pay for the refreshments, or does that all cover that?
That works.
Okay.
Joe.
so next item moving on is grants.
Okay, so I was gonna print out what I sent to Norma, but my printer stopped working, so I'll send it. Can I
To us.
send it by email to everybody? If I've already talked about it at the meeting, send it to him and then he sends it to everybody. But I summarized all the current grants. And then I'll just update it quarterly. So that way, when we're talking about stuff, we can flip to the page and be like, oh, maybe we can go
Mhm.
through this route.
So, John, is that okay for her to email that stuff
I'll
to
email it
us?
to you directly.
Or does it have to
and
go to you first and then you disperse it?
I like to be safe and sorry, so.
Okay.
Send it to you.
Right,
then you'll-
that's what I thought from talking to you before, that it's gotta go to you first.
So you'll all see this soon, but
Yep.
basically, most of the grants do not cover brick and mortar improvements.
Mhm.
It's all things like education. There's the one that actually looks interesting. And we talked about it a couple meetings ago. I wish I could find it right now. Is having someone come and do research to update the historical register.
Mhm.
And it looks like one of these grants, and I wish I could find it. Hold on. Council Humanities Grant Making. That's not it. So there's the National Trust Preservation Funds, which the application is due on the 3rd of October, and it recurs every year. And then we can also submit for the certified local government grants. To have someone come and, well, we would, basically, it'd be a grant to pay for someone to do the research to add additional houses to the register. Right, was it St. Cyr? Who was the guy who came and showed us all his maps?
Larry.
Larry.
Yeah, that's what it was. He's done half the work for us, right? You
He's done-
pointed out all the
he's done more
buildings. Now someone can just go and be like, I'm gonna research, and we can identify the buildings if we get a grant, right?
He's
Yeah,
done
that's good.
a lot of work on that.
Main Street where they made
Hmm.
it, because there's so many
Hmm.
additional historical homes that are past the ones that were
Yep,
originally applied for.
So we can go for the October one, or we can wait until the certified local government grants posts. It has not posted yet. But the closing, yeah, so the closing to submit is January, so I assume it's coming up soon that they would open for people to submit.
That thing you're taking, that district commission.
Yes.
That's one of those grants.
One of the grants is paying for that training. Okay.
They submitted in September, September.
And so I'll just update this quarterly. I also have a question. Does the Reed Schoolhouse count as a museum? Because if it does, there's a whole bunch of grants that are specific to museums that we might be able to leverage for doing other things with the Reed
What's
Schoolhouse.
the definition of museum?
I don't know.
Well, they don't have like criteria
I'm sure I didn't
Grant.
research the museum
the
grants
money-
because,
because. I mean, everybody could have a different definition, but the only definition that matters is the one that they put forward. So I would think that the grant would call out what qualifies as a museum.
Because right now it's relatively empty.
Mhm.
Things can be put back in there.
right, and if we got funding to help us do that.
I'm just
And
thinking
make it money in schoolhouse.
they might say, you know, a museum needs to be open so many days a week
Mhm.
for certain hours.
So, okay, I will go find out what the rules are of a museum. And I'll present that to you guys next time. And we can decide if, what would be required to get Reed Schoolhouse to be considered a museum, and then we can add
Now,
extra options to
on
this.
Museum day, technically. It should be listed. By Smithsonian Magazine, and we haven't submitted it to be
Mhm.
listed yet. I mean, that's museum day, Payne House and Nathaniel Green are open. Reed School can be open too, but it's not on the list. So it has to be,
what list is
there's a
that?
list you have to fill out, it's like an
Oh.
application
Okay,
that you have to do.
Yep.
So I did it in Payne House. You
Yep.
fill it out, you submit
got
it, and they
Mhm.
say, okay, you're a museum. And on museum day, you're supposed to be open for free.
right, so people
And
can
it's always
stop in.
September. So Reed School with all what went on this past year, it has not been on. Listed, I never filled out the application, when we can for next year,
Mhm.
but it's not on the list
Okay,
for that day, from Smithsonian Magazine.
Okay,
I
okay,
mean, that's,
so I'll find out what the
Yeah.
rules are for what counts as a museum.
yeah, because
Okay.
what we can do with that at one room school, but we can talk about. Education in town, how it started,
Mm.
this is how it started in these little one room schools.
Mhm.
And that could be the subject of it to what,
okay, so Aaron, you're going to forward the stuff to John so he
Yes.
can disseminate it to all of us.
I will do that.
And then at that time, you guys can look through it, and if there are any grants of interest,
Mhm. So the
bring them up the next meeting.
The National Trust Preservation Fund is due on the 3rd. So you guys haven't looked at it yet, but do we want to try to get in for that, or should we just say we'll wait until the certified local government grant comes up?
I think we wait with
Okay,
everything
because Helen
that's
talked
going
about
on in
that.
the next.
No,
Couple
they're all
weeks.
roughly equivalent. It would be some work. 10-3 is achievable, but not if we're not gonna we'll have one more meeting, and that's not enough time for us to like review the wording and all agree this is how we want to submit the application. Okay,
Okay.
so we will wait for the certified local government one for the National Register. Okay, got it.
Okay. Last item on here is opera funds.
Yeah, the ARPA funds, that's the money that they got from COVID money, right?
Yes,
COVID money that they got, so it's like up for grabs. And they want projects, I had the copy of the application, but they want projects that are 20,000 and more. $20,000 and more. So that's why I thought the pink granite.
Oh, nice.
yeah,
The map, because those are gonna be high ticket
right. So
Right.
again, the big
Items.
sticking point with the map thing is just figuring out how to get it to those people, which, John, are you gonna ask about that?
Yes.
You are, okay,
Because
that's
they're
just,
telling me they don't have a deadline,
yeah,
but it might be the end of
right,
September.
well,
Well, that's not a lot of
that's
time.
not, right, that's not a lot, that's exactly what I was told too.
Who
that
decides? It's local
It's very
Coventry
nebulous.
decides, or it's Rhode Island decides when the cutoff is?
Town.
Town. The money.
COVID money that was given to the town.
I do have an application sitting on my desk at home,
Yeah,
so
but it's very.
I know it's very simple, it's very simplistic, but I'm just saying, so it's not a big deal to fill it out,
No,
but we can't, I mean, the
you can't fill it out if you don't
the
have
pink
information.
granite is different because that I can get numbers on
Yeah.
that from my mason and stuff and like that to have something, but none of us know how much the restoration of the town sign would be because we have no idea.
Maybe
I mean, it could be 2,000, it could be 5,000.
if he works on that. Amherst, figuring out how to transport that, but we also have that conservator come and look at it because she's local.
Mhm.
Maybe we can get it done fast. I mean, she comes and says she can't do it. Fine,
Yep.
but-
And which person is that?
Who's that?
Oh,
Oh, she was.
I have to look up
Oh.
her name. It was
oh,
the woman
okay.
gave
The woman that would be able to
presentation
talk at the
at-
Tuxedo Valley.
at
Okay,
Tuxedo.
all right.
Yeah, I mean, if she can do it and come and tell us that it's worth doing,
Mm-hmm.
be sooner than getting it to Amherst.
Yep,
I'm just thinking about time.
yep,
The
Okay.
deadline's September 30th.
Oh, yeah, it's not.
We don't
good.
have a lot of time.
yep.
To
Well,
carry
again, I
that
can, I can
around.
get her name because again, I gotta talk to Jerry Tellier
Okay.
anyway. And I'll ask about,
But they're not sure when the deadline is.
And who provided that information?
And what would,
Okay.
she's the one that told me that it was coming up, so. And I sent the application to Paul.
Yeah, I only asked in case I'm.
Yeah, Jenny,
getting like the people that were.
yeah, but,
Getting it.
and that, it's not so much the design for pink granite, it's the numbers for pink granite. They'll probably want to see a design at some
oh, yeah,
point,
they will.
but it's more numbers right now.
Yeah, no, I know. No, I will put in there for the design because I'm not for me, but to get the proper like visuals. I have someone who'll do that once I draw out to scale on that site map, what it is, because it, just by chance, my mason's son and his cousin run a 3D production facility. And they do all of the stuff with drones and all that, but they do it for architects, real estate agents and all that stuff to put 3D imaging together from the stuff. And they're really good at it. They're young, it's what they do and they're really good at it. But I already talked to them about it. I just haven't done any more with it until definitely we wanted to, move ahead with it. But because they'll take pictures of the site and then, this is fairly simple what's going on there and then superimpose that and make it into a visual so that the council can see it as well and everybody can see it to promote it. Okay, all right. You got to do public comment.
Yeah, let me see if anybody's. Nope, and there's nobody.
Nobody.
else
Okay,
here except
so
for us.
someone make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,